Hi there, and welcome back to another BobBlast. Hi, I'm Bob Burridge, and this one is a part one of a three-part series that I'm currently working on. So you'll see the first part at least today. And it's all about perspective. It's about a fresh point of view. Did you ever think about that? The perspective of your painting? Are you looking up from the ceiling? Or are you looking up underneath the table? Where is your eye coming from? Your fresh point of view. It's time to invent something new and have fun with it at the same time. These are my landscapes. How many times have you looked out the window of a plane? Yes, you have. And looked down in the beautiful patterns of the farmland and said, wow, what a great painting. It's all right there. Kind of like a Richard Diebenkorn kind of a thing, right? Remember him? Well, these are my versions of looking out the window, looking straight down on farmland. You know, this could be the farm, this could be the field, all the busyness. So you have quiet areas, then you have busy areas, just like the farmland. Patterns, mostly about patterns, little things going on, big things going on. Looking down is not just the farmland, it's also traffic. I'm doing a whole series on cul-de-sacs. All those crazy circles there in the cul-de-sacs, and it's just crazy, right? Well, I like to work on those patterns. And where did all that come from? It came from a wonderful book I had since grade school, and I know some of you who are my age have it too. This is the Walter Foster book on perspective. If he wrote a whole book on the whole thing, it must be important. So I remember looking at it because I couldn't read these pages when I was a kid, but I kept the book. Look at all these drawings. Too complicated. 1 point, 2 point, 3 point, 4 point perspective. But at least I learned the idea about drawing. And it stayed with me ever since. And I think that gives your painting more power when it's a stronger composition. Think about the composition. Pretty much an important part of the 5 C's that I like to talk about. So here we go. Let's get started. And I'll show you my point of view of looking straight down on farmland. Now let me show you how I start a looking straight down point of view, fresh point of view. This is a watercolor paper, 300-pound Fabriano. I have my big brushes. You're talking big brushes. My paints are Holbein acrylics. I have an ivory black, and I have some titanium white, and I do have a little bit of marigold, which is a transparent yellowish gold color that I like to add to some of this. I have some drawing pencils, water-soluble drawing pencils, and of course some rubbing alcohol and some water for me, and a big bucket of water here on my right side. All right, now the back of this has already been named and gessoed. That means this piece has been gessoed, and I already have the name down, farmland 30,000 feet. Now I'm ready to go. I work flat, and because I work flat, I work so wet, and I don't want the paint to be dripping down. So this is just tape. This is box tape. I put it down like that, make the sticky side out, and put it down. Now it's not going to move, because I like to paint with both hands. You know me, I like to paint with a paper towel, one hand, and a brush in the other hand. So I need both hands for painting, not one hand to hold the paper down. Now this is not going to go anywhere. So my black paint, we start off monochromatic, okay? There's a little dollop of black and some white. Actually, this is my gesso. And we'll just stick a whole bunch of dollops of paint. That way I always have a fresh one around. I like to put at least 2 dollops. Get it away from me. I only put on the table what's going to serve me for this. I don't junk it up with all kinds of other stuff. If it's not going to go into the painting, I don't want it around. All right. So looking straight down. How many times have you looked down and you saw the farmland? And it's beautifully organized too. You see silos. So this is a water-soluble pencil. I'm just getting a general feeling here of looking straight down. And you know, it's so well organized. Isn't that amazing? It's all connected. So there's a lot of busyness around the house, you know, the barn, the outhouses, things like that, patterns. And so I'm just putting these, and very few round things other than the silo, right? Silo. kind of nice. And maybe some organic thing in here might be part of a pond. Usually these farms were built near water. Maybe just to throw some interest in here. It's not always straight up and down. It could be had perspective that way too. But this perspective is straight down. It's off the side a little bit. And not getting too much down with the drawing because I want to see what this looks like as a painting. And now these are water-soluble pencil marks. They may dissolve at the same time I'm putting down a midtone. And I am going to put down a midtone right now, which is a little bit of white, very little bit of black. Beautiful. Just maybe a little bit more. Kind of a navy ship gray. There you go. And this is the warm black. This is the ivory black. It tends to be warm. Whereas Mars black might be a little cooler when it dries. And I'm going to do this quickly. Big washes, which means big brushes, which means working fast for me. Really wet, really super wet. No details yet. Whoa, look at this. Some of this stuff is coming out already. And of course, contrast is what you're looking for, and that becomes the focal point. Wherever your eye goes first, that is your focal point. So a way of doing the focal point is with patterns is the part that has the most contrast. The lightest light next to the darkest dark. Like all of a sudden you're starting to see focal point here already, right? And you don't want to be in competition with yourself yet, so you make sure that that stays the strongest. Look at me, look at me. Keep it loose, very loose, not literal at the very beginning. Make this white. I'm using one brush. I can get my thin lines in there and my wide lines in here, see? If I paint this way or this way. Easy, one brush does everything for me here. And I'm going to just play around with contrast, rather. There we go. Working on patterns. More water, always more water. Keep it loose. So I like some of this over here, and I want more. I want more. I'm squinting my eyes, really, right now, at this point, to make sure that my eye ends up over this area, right in here. And use the back end. I like to use the back end of my brush, too, for drawing. I just like to draw, period. And it makes it more fun to play with patterns, repetition, all those good things you learn about patterns and design and looking straight down. So I like to have busy areas like this, and I like to have quiet areas. And of course, it never ends up the way you thought it would be or planned it. But at least your intentions don't change. Make sure your intentions. Here I wanted to do farmland, so by golly, I'm going to. By golly. And the tendency is to start changing your mind. Don't change your mind. If it was a good idea at the beginning, what happened to change your mind? Nothing. If you were excited about it at the beginning, be excited about it the whole time. I'm playing around now with this. More water. Simplifying some of this. I want to add water because I want to show you what happens when you play with rubbing alcohol in a very wet, slick surface that has been gessoed, by the way. Making it super wet to really emphasize the point. Now again, I like to draw back into it. Or, while that's just settling down a little bit, this is the first step, I'm going to throw in a handful of isopropyl alcohol. This one happens to be 91%. It can be any of those, 70, 80, 90%. And let's see what happens next. Just to remind you, this alcohol technique doesn't work for everybody. So don't give up. You got to keep trying it. The paint has to be a certain wetness on top of a certain kind of a gesso, any kind of a gesso actually. It seals the paper, it seals the canvas, And that way, when you put paint on top of it, it doesn't go into the canvas or into the paper. It sits on top, and that's when the alcohol goes to work. Let's see what happens here. Now, this is still nice and wet. I'm going to throw some on my hands and splash it around. It creates those beautiful little bubbles. There's no way to predict any of this, but it's a great way to break up the pattern. So it starts to create its own little organic patterns, little round circles, little donuts, just to break it up. It's a great way to have fun too, using this kind of isopropyl alcohol. Well, it's still wet, so I'm going to continue on. Selective areas, and let some of it be by itself like that. Well, anyway, I could just keep on going. I'm staying monochromatic a little bit, but sometimes I like to bring in one color. Like this happens to be marigold. It's a transparent Indian yellow type thing, and use it a very little bit of it. It gives me that warm khaki color. Look at that beautiful color. Add a little bit more white. Always more white. Look at that beautiful color. There's that warm color. So I'm going to come in here and, oh man, these two colors, black and this khaki color, are so beautiful together. Add some nice warmth. I'm also eliminating parts, making some parts simpler. I really like these colors. So it's a little bit of black, a little bit of yellow, Indian yellow maybe, and a whole lot of white. Just become a neutral. I'm going to get rid of that part. Doesn't need it. This is where you start thinking about what to leave in, what to take out. But still looking straight down. Come over here. Open this up a little bit. Looking straight down. And you have to stand back a lot. Look at it from far away, get it up on the wall, or take a photograph of it. Look at it on your iPad, on a big screen. And that way you can see the overall pattern just like you originally did when you looked out the window. I'm going to throw some more alcohol on top of this, because I can. You just sprinkle it on, like that. It will work in some areas, and some areas it won't work. It's because the paint's too thick and you rubbed it in too hard. If you want the bubble effect, you have to put it on lightly on top of a pre-gessoed surface, like a canvas or paper. Well, there you have it. I hope you like looking straight down where the pattern gives you an idea. On my next BobBlast, which will be part 2, we're going to be looking down on objects, a different way of looking at different things that are objects. This was the landscape. Next one will be objects, everyday items you see every day, to look at it at a different point of view. Thank you so much for watching this. I'll see you on the next one. That's as important as this one. I'll see you on the next BobBlast. Thanks for watching.